So hello, what we got here today is a Midgard comparison Lake of 9, God of War 2018 to God of War Ragnarok. So basically it's me going on a Lake of 9 in God of War 2018, exploring every place in the Lake of 9. As I just said, I'm going to say that quite a lot, I think. But anyway, I tried to cover it in much detail as possible. As I said, I didn't go down every nook and cranny because sometimes it's like a mine that left away from like the lake. Like I remember the lake and the realm towers and the beaches surrounding it. I went up every realm tower possible. I showed off all that, opened up all doors as possible. I even show inside of the Tears temple a bit. I show like a door off here where you punch Modi and you go down into like the vault to get the Black Ruin, and then you go. Then I'll end it in where you go to flip the temple. And I've also shown on the maps, if you ever see me in another map and like move my mark around, it shows where certain things are in Ragnarok that ain't there in 2018. So it is pretty interesting in this room here, because in this room here there's like you can actually go down the elevator again, but this is the pillar where you punch Modi into and it breaks. Funnily enough, it's there in Ragnarok. So yeah, so then you can go back out at this door here. I walk all the way around, but it's quite a long walk. There's nothing really to see, so I like cut most of it out. I think it took me like over half an hour to explore all of the 2018 Lincoln 9. So here we see, I don't really explore in here because obviously it's inside. So every realm tower you see, I open up doors. Oh, I've cut out all the combat, so you'll see a bit of combat, and I've also cut out some of the backtracking I do to get back to the boat or to get back to the elevator to save on time as possible, because it went over an hour. So you won't actually see me backtrack, and yeah, it is pretty interesting. So I'm not going to talk all the way through it. I'll start talking a bit like I am doing now. Then when the Ragnarok comparison starts, I will show that. So most of it is actually pretty interesting, because by here on the map, look, you can see all this here, and up here is where like you find the Norns, and that's not actually there, even though it's pretty close to. And you can see the giant, and also, which is pretty interesting, this is where like the King Berserker fight is up here, and that isn't actually there. So it's actually really interesting to see the comparison between like realm towers and that. And in 2018 Ragnarok, there's islands like by the Asgard Tower where you gotta use like lifts, and there's like the destroyed boats, and they're not there. And there's actually like an island as well, and that's not really there. It's underneath the ice, or it's just broken away. And in Ragnarok, you can't even get by the Muspelheim Tower. And like some like realm doors open up in 2018, some don't in Ragnarok, and vice versa as well. Oh, and there's the dragon by Svartalfheim Tower and Asgard's Tower. That was bold, was that both have like a treasure thing underneath, and you've also got like the secret room underneath the Ormond statue, and like I think the island is gone by these two double doors here, and them double doors lead to like the statue of Thor. You got to destroy that ghost as well. And there's also a dig spot in Ragnarok there as well. So it's pretty interesting, so sit back, relax. I'll speak up when I've got something interesting to say about a certain area. So enjoy, have it on in the background, because this is pure silence, me walking around, showing off every bit I can, pretty much. One last quick thing, there will be spoilers for the God of War Ragnarok comparison, because that is at end game with 100% completion of a platinum playthrough, so everything's done possible. So there will be spoilers, and I guess it's technically spoilers for God of War 2018, that's been out since 2018, so just 2018 gameplay thing is on, I think it's on I don't think it's on 100% playthrough, but it's on a playthrough with all Valkyries or side quests done, so it's fairly complete after endgame. So
Mimir, you never told me what happened with the stonemason's son. You said he'd have his revenge?
Hrimthur, son of Thamur. After completing his father's masterwork, the Great Wall of Jotunheim, he thought of nothing but making the Aesir pay for their crimes against the giants. Once he longed to fight Thor, but tragedy had brought wisdom to Hrimthur and cunning. He observed that Asgard's walls were half-built and shoddy, for no Aesir god could be bothered with such tiresome labour. You know what? I'll tell this one later. We were at... The stonemason's son, plotting revenge, observed the shoddiness of Asgard's walls. So Hrimthur adopted the guise of an ordinary man and made the Aesir an offer. He would build them majestic new walls, and if he couldn't build them within 2 turns of the season, they would owe him nothing for his labours. And if he succeeded, he asked only for an audience with the goddess Freya. Odin agreed, knowing the task was impossible, but intrigued by this stranger. You know what? I'll tell this one later. So then, Hrimthur, the stonemason's son in disguise, offered to fix Asgard's walls. Hrimthur made short work of it, of course. He had the benefit of his father's training and the aid of a magical stallion for fetching stones. Odin was not happy to find himself on the losing end of the wager, but he seemed to uphold his end of the bargain. Freya was sent to meet the mason, and to her surprise, he wanted only to whisper something in her ear. That being done, he made his way out of Asgard. And when he found Thor awaiting him at the gates of Midgard, he knew he had been double-crossed. But he didn't care, because his plan was complete.
It was? What did he say to Freya?
Only she could say for certain, but I've had many moons to work it out. Hrimthur knew that Freya loathed the Aesir, despite her marriage to Odin, and I believe he gave her the secret to Asgard's defences. Some weakness he may have built in, structural or magical, which I expect will be exploited come Ragnarok when Surtur arrives to burn Asgard to ash. If not sooner.
That dragon, that's Baldur's, isn't it?
Yes.
And you brought it down to see.
This part is interesting right here, because this is the part that you come into the Lake of Night in Ragnarok. You come down here through a cave in the Ragnarok from Kratos' house. If you go down this way in 2018, it leads you to Fafnir's storeroom. There's an elevator, you go up it and it leads you to Fafnir's storeroom. But in Ragnarok, the elevator is not there, or if it is there, it's frozen underneath ice and it does not work.
To make off with Mjolnir while the thunder lummox slept. Sadly for Thrym, he didn't always think with his brain. Though he had robbed the greatest giant killer of his greatest weapon, he offered to trade it back to the Aesir in exchange for Freya as his bride. And we'll pick this up later. Freya was married to Odin, and Odin, frankly, would have traded her for a sufficiently strong mead, but he saw an opportunity here. Thrym's palace was in Jotunheim, and only giants know the way. By agreeing to the marriage, they'd have to escort Freya back to their realm. So, Odin coerced Freya into using her Saether magics to conceal Thor, so he could sneak along with her and infiltrate Jotunheim. Or I can just tell you the story later.
that down there?
As the wedding dowry, Thor revealed himself. He took back Mjolnir and wasted no time in smashing Thrym's skull, followed by every other giant present for the festivities. The only thing that put a stop to it was Freya, who wanted no part of this massacre. She cast a powerful spell that hurtled them both out of Jotunheim with no means of return. Odin was livid, hoping that Thor's foothold in Jotunheim would become his own. And oh, would he ever revenge himself upon Freya?
What is the point of this story, Head?
Well, for Thrym, the lesson would be to keep his priorities straight. For Freya, it's that doing good has a price. For Thor, it's that no object of power makes you what you are. And if what you are is the biggest butchering bastard in the Nine Realms, nobody can take that away from you. If I'm not mistaken, we've yet to discuss the tale of the giant Bergelmir.
Oh yeah, I remember his shrine. It looked happier than the other ones, mostly.
It begins in an ocean of blood.
Finally, a story worth hearing.
If you remember, Ymir, the first giant, was fatally stabbed by Odin. It's in his blood our story starts. Ymir's magical guts poured out in a torrent so violent it threatened to flood all of creation. The Jotnar were unprepared, as the very last of them were washed away in the endless tide. Not just Ymir, but all of giant kind faced extinction. And so would Odin's victory have been complete. But Ymir's kind did not all perish that day. Staying afloat in the hollowed husk of a tree, the frost giant Bergelmir endured, as did his lady wife. For weeks they sailed, until finally they came upon a new land. They called it Jotunheim. And there they would start anew. As father and mother they would multiply exceedingly, and as king and queen they worked to make Jotunheim a land where giants would know no master but themselves. Or I can just tell you this story later.
So now that we're nearly at an end of comparison 2018 to Ragnarok, before we get to the Ragnarok part, I just want to say the reason why I've not spoken too much is because it's mainly rowing around in water, and unlike Ragnarok, there's not a lot of like detail in the water, so I am just going to row a boat, so that's why I've not really spoke too much, but I do speak a lot more in the Ragnarok part, so yeah, sorry about that, but I might compare Muspelheim next, or Kratos, sorry, I can't really compare Niflheim, because Niflheim looks completely different, or I can't do Asgard, Jotunheim, or Svartalheim, so I've already done Alfheim. I could do Helheim, I guess, but Helheim's completely different. But let me know if you want me to compare Kratos' home, or the woodland area, or the witch's house area, or the witch's woods area, or any area like that. But you know, let's finish up with the comparison. So now that we have done a full loop of the Lake in 9, we're back at Brock and Sindri's shop. We're gonna start a comparison of the God of War Ragnarok version at the part where you enter the lake through these bones at this point here. So you just go back all the way down here between the Svartalheim Tower and the Asgard Tower, because you know it's the Svartalheim Tower because of the dead dragon there. And now this time, like they can actually go up the Asgard Tower and open up the door, and that leads into the stronghold at the end of the game. I did originally leave, but I ran all the way up the stronghold and ran all the way back down. But I decided to cut it where I just show where it's up there, so you get a pretty good view. I think it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool to see what was actually behind the Asgard Tower the entire time. I thought that, you know, I don't know, but I just think that was cool, because obviously at the end of the game, after you give me the main events of like the main story, before you go to a certain funeral, yeah, that's where you end up, and you get a pretty cool view. I think it's a cool view anyway. And then there's the 2 shrines. So anyway, you know, just, I don't know, this is the part I like comparison really, because you just to see like how much the difference is, how much you don't know is actually there. I'm not saying it's actually there in 2018, but you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, in this part you can actually see the islands that with the lifts and the elevators and towers, and that you can't actually get there because it's all been blocked off. So the Lake of 9 is generally like, it doesn't feel smaller, but it technically is, but it doesn't feel like it, which is a cool thing. And I think traversing it on a sled is pretty cool. And here you're gonna see like a part here that was lost underwater, so the water level must have dropped again once the water froze, which I thought is pretty cool as well, because it's part was underwater before. I wasn't here, but you actually go here for like a few side quests and a treasure map or 2 underneath these boats, so that is pretty cool, to be fair. So you lose a few realm towers. Those are like destroyed and blocked off, so you can't really go on them to check them. But anyway, in God of War 2018, you can check all. I think it's all 9 or 8. Yeah, no, I think it's all 9. So I'm trying to think of all the Valkyrie like Brazier things, but yeah. You get to go up all of them, I do believe, and yeah, they sent me card, which is pretty cool, but there's a lot more exploring places, like, I know it's 100% today, but I think I missed the things open up when I was exploring it, so that was cool, to be fair. And then we see that in Muspelheim Tower, like, where you go to Freya's turtle, underneath the turtle. You can go back to the turtle, but, you know, that's a part of the Lake of 9. So as you can see, it's all been snowed off and blocked off, and as you can see there's also like a hidden temple part, which is also pretty cool, because it means that the water could have dropped deeper. And there's the thing I discovered while I was exploring the whole lake, which was really cool. It was only like some money, but you know. Oh yes, so as I said, spoiler alert, because of the drop near spear. So it's only like it's 2 grand of hack silver pretty much. So this when enemy popped up, so I just cut it out because it was one of them weird enemy things. So anyway, I'm poisoned. This is it. It's like a puzzle thing. I think there's like a Nordia chest inside, a Norn chest inside, or there's a legendary chest inside. I I think with a ruin attacking. If it's a ruin attack, it'll be a legendary chest. But anyway, here's the map. As you can see, it's the Lake of 9 is definitely smaller. You don't get to go to all these places like these stonemasons, the corpse, or up the mountain, or by the statue of Thor. Oh yeah, this is a raider camp up there. Like yeah, that's the entrance as well. And they actually do spawn in. So if you do that side quest and kill the main boss, and you go back to any of them, you can actually fight the boss again. I'll obviously cut out like the combat, because obviously if you're going to see the combat, it would be over an hour, because it took me half an hour to do the Lake of 9 in 2018. Actually, no, I think it was 45 minutes in 2018 Lake of 9, and this one was like 50 minutes. Because obviously it had the combat in there. So here we see now we're going to leave the raider camp and we're going to go to the Vanheim Tower. Now the Vanheim Tower actually surprised me because I thought the bridge was locked in always to the Vanheim Tower like in 2018. But they must have done it in the story, right, where they went to Jotunheim in 2018, they just kept the bridge locked into the Jotunheim Tower. So it felt weird because I was like, oh yeah, I thought it was normally locked into Vanheim Tower because that's what it normally is to go through to the mountain, but it's actually not. So I was actually surprised to realise that, because I didn't realise it was actually locked in. As I say, actually locked into the Jotunheim Tower. I also want to quickly want to mention over the course of the game, Tyr's Temple Bridge actually changes. So at the start of the game, like the bridge is all blocked off with snow. Before Ragnarok, it changed to like a camp gets put in place. Then after the events of Ragnarok, fragments of Asgard is put down, and in posting of editing, I accidentally deleted a clip, so it's messed up all the dialogue and video footage. So now I've got to sing it all back up. So forgive me if there's any mistakes, if there's like a giant random cut or random words. But I think this is what I made my mistake. So anyway. We're gonna go to the Jotunheim Tower now, and the only way you can get to it is this lift. So you wanna come here, and you wanna have with this lift. No, I don't think this side worked in 2018. I think on 2018 it was the other side of the lift that worked. So not this side, the other side left that worked. But now in Ragnarok it's this side that works, not the other side. Completely weird, I know. It's completely jumbled up. So anyway, if you come up here, it is just Jotunheim Tower. If I remember correctly, it didn't open up in 2018, but it's anyway blocked off in actually no, it did open up in 2018 because he put the Unity Stone in it and that's how you transfer it back. So yeah, this is the bridge after the actual Battle of Ragnarok, the actual event on Ragnarok. So it's be parts of Asgard all over it. If you come here like just before the battle, there'll be like Freya's camp of like getting ready to go to war, and then before like at the start of the game, it's all blocked off with snow. And when you come here to visit no one's, I don't know because I've actually come up here, but you can still go to Brock and Sindri's shop, which is pretty cool, and you can go back down to the place where you had a fight with Thor if you're interested, and somebody stole like the light crystal. But you know, the light bridge will be going out anyway and you can't turn it back on, so I shot it there anyway. As you see, you can come down here and you can see where you had to fight with Thor. Nothing really changes. His tooth is still on the ground. The lightning is still there. You would imagine it would go away after Ragnarok, but I guess it will go away. I guess it'll either defreeze on its own or it'll be a permanent marker in like in the Lake of 9 for forever. So as you can see, you can go in the temple itself and investigate. All the collectibles are down because if you sold them like artifacts in 2018, they would put them on these shelves if you do. But obviously, since all the collectibles have been moved to Sindri's house, all the previous collectibles I think are there, and all the new collectibles as a fun little fact. So it turns out the edit mistake I made, yeah, it didn't fix it, so I got the voiceovers all over again. So anyway, this is Tyr's travel room. It is broken, so you can't really explore much. So I'm just gonna backtrack from there. As you can see, yeah, you can see where you flipped it. As you can see, the bridge is gone. I don't know if I saw on the table like the towers of the display, but now we're back outside. And now we're gonna go down to where like where you go down into Tia's vault slash like a little maintenance room for like where a collectible is. So you come down here, then to the side is obviously where you go down into Tia's vault with a sand bowl. So as we can see here, it's a little maintenance room for the travel bridge. There's actually Lake of the Nine collectible in here, so if that helps out, you know, feel free to get it. Then in here you go, there's a raider hideout where you go for a side quest, and if you already killed the boss, and if you come back he'll spawn back in. It's a glitch, or I think it's a thing where you can fight a boss, which is pretty cool. As you can see, the sand bowl in the middle is gone, the ruin on the wall is gone, the panel about tier is gone. I think they added some bunk beds where like the panel was, and obviously the chest where you get Tartarus's Rage, I think it is, and the pillar where you punch Modi into it and it breaks and turns invisible in 2018 is fully back and fully repaired. In us, I think where it turned invisible was a glitch, but it should have a hole in where you punch Modi, but I guess they must have fixed it. So anyway, this is where you get into Tia's vault pretty much. If you realise, if we go downwards a bit, we'll have much more room and much more heat, but I guess raiders are absolutely stupid. So now this is where like Tia's like helmet statue was, helmet thing. So and now we're gonna go to the upwards of the big double doors and down to the location of a helpful and down to a location of a treasure map collectible, or something with a northern chest. I can't remember what you did down there. It's been a little bit since I've done it. So if you're wondering what that is there, or it could be a place for a flower or an ingredient, I just can't remember. So this is where the hateful was in particular. So if you're looking for one of the 6, I think it's either 6 hatefuls or 8 hatefuls to get a chaos flame. I think it's 6. 6 sounds more reasonable. And down here is where you come in for like a treasure thing or a chest or something. I really can't remember in particular. But now is where we go down to like the double door area. Actually, no, I think it's where we go up to this little island part here. This used to be an island before, and now if you free a certain summon in Niflheim after Asgard is destroyed, you will be here. You'll be here, and the clock voices by the dead corpse in the corner there. So now you come back down and you get on the sled. Sorry, my voice was a bit sort of, I had a drink and my voice has gone a bit all weird. So now you go down to the double doors, and by these double doors there's another raider campment hideout thing and a collectible by the double, and a treasure map collectible by the double door. So if you get the right treasure map or treasure, sorry, it'd be right there where that dig up parl is. It's funny because I don't know how they digged it up there, because in 2018 it was a parl, and here we see the map where the berserker fight is. And obviously that's where the fight is, so we're going to go up there now. It's burned into my retinas. There's a fast travel door, a shortcut and whatnot, and there's also like a dev quest thing. It's a dev quest because the developer passed away, and it's actually pretty good to boost your stats. You collect, like, you go over the realms and collect ingredients. I don't know if it's 3 ingredients or more ingredients, but I think it like puts like +5 to all your stats or +8 to all your stats. I don't know, it's like a real good bonus. It's like a real good bonus as well. So yeah, it's really recommend doing it. There's one in Svartalheim, obviously, one in Midgard, and one somewhere else, I can't remember. It might be Alfheim. Yeah. Actually, no, it's Alfheim, not the thing of like Niflheim, I don't know. But there's ones you can go to. If you want to know locations, I guess you can just watch another YouTube video. So now I'm going to go see the Berserker King fight, if I'm getting it in the right order. So that like symbol there is where one of the ingredients will be. So one of the ingredients will be here. If you haven't already been there, up there is where the actual campsite will actually be. Now we go to the place that's actually burned into my retinas, the Berserker boss fight. You gotta walk up it the first time, but there is a fast travel door ruin thing you can jump down into. There will be a Berserker gravestone here if you ain't already killed him, but if you have, like, I've killed all the Berserkers, like all 8 Valkyries. I think there's now 12 Berserkers, because sometimes you would get like 2, 3, like, some you would get like 2 Berserkers, some you would get 3 Berserkers, but the end one is like one big Berserker, all Berserker move just like the Valkyries. Now this Berserker is no joke, it's literally burned into remember how long it took me. Now here we see a raider hideout. I left some of the combat in here so you can throw more. This one's worth doing because it's part of the side quest, and it's also got a Norn chest you can get an apple from to boost your health. I think you collect like far more apples you did in this game than you did in 2018. In 2018 you collect like 9. I think it's 9 apples in general, so obviously you do a bunch of chests to get 9 apples to get max health. But this place is a pretty cool area. There's actually quite a lot. There's actually quite a lot to do. I think there's also a legendary chest in the corner. So now we are back by the island where like you go to open up for like the spirit that wants to kill 4 or fight 4. And I think we're gonna go visit another realm tower now. I think it's the L5 tower. Yeah, this part confused me so bad. This part is so confusing. I actually got lost and confused because there's a thing where you've got to like crawl through to go up or down, and you've got to climb up yourself and move a rock. So as I was exploring here by the Orman, I actually got confused, but there was actually a Norn chest and a secret area underneath the Orman that obviously wasn't there in God of War 2018 because it was obviously still on the water. But I don't know how it's not like been frozen in like a giant ice cave, or like how the water drained out. But nonetheless, it's there. Then obviously you go around. There's I think it's Alfheim Tower. The symbol is. I think it's as well because there's also like a realm tear. Just like in this location in God of War 2018, there's a red chest area. And red chest is normally like a burial area. So then you can, I think that you can turn that thing and another way will come down here. Then there's obviously a teleporting door. And I think in 2018 the Alfheim Tower opened up as well, so you can go through it. Now, once you backtrack and you do some ninja stuff, you can make your way to through the Ormond secret room like I did. I think I did a jump cut, so you can't really see how I got to the area, because I think I did get confused. This area is a bit confusing, because you try to go down that way and realise, oh, I can't go down that way. So you got to all the way backtrack, all the way down, all the way through. I like this area because I like this cool secret room in the Oarsman, because the Oarsman I would say was like my favourite landmark in like 2018 of the Lake of Nine. So as you see, you come all the way through here, and to get back through you gotta go all the way back up here. But then anyway, there's like another realm tower. So with this realm tower, I think it's Helheim one if I'm not mistaken. I actually thought it was a grappling thing because of it, and I realised, oh yeah, I remember this. So anyway, I'll explain a bit later on. So then this is how you get to the Orman. You just do a jump cut, and then you see this big underground part that wasn't here before. There's a teleporting door. There's a legendary chest and a Norn chest. It's always worth it to get a Norn chest, because obviously there's always a puzzle with the bells. There's one bell, look. I mean, it's always worth doing it to get more horns or apples to boost your rage and health, because you get a lot of health in this game and a lot of rage in this game as well if you use the right enchantments and stuff. That's about gameplay features we're here to compare. So, as you can see, I think this is a pretty cool area. You know, mate, this is right cool. When I found this, I was like, mate, this is awesome. I don't know how we didn't crash into it in God of War 2018 or something like that. It must have been all on the water. Well, it would have been almost on the water. Now, there's like, I think, by a fighting area as well. Like, if you come down here, you can only get to it if you kick down that chain, or if you like climb up the chain. So yeah, either way, you're going down the chain, up the chain that fights some enemies pretty much. It's a pretty cool area. It leads, and if you go road down this area, it leads to the giant with the big chisel in his head. So yeah, you can't really go to that area. Now we're gonna go to the Well of Erd, which is the Norn's location, and there's also the Helheim Tower that I thought you could grapple up to, but there is a grapple jump. Now there is another Lake of 9 collectible again here, so it's just literally right in here. And there's also a chest as well. It's not in the chest, it's just by the chest. So if anybody got it, it's there. Now the on the map, the Well of Erd isn't actually on the map, but you can actually tell where it is because it's by the giant's body. But the giant's body isn't on the map, as I say, and you can climb up to the the well, but you can't actually go to the Norns because they blocked it off at a certain point. But this part is cool because it's, as I say, on the map here. Look, you know where, like, if you know up in that corner, you know where the body's just like a bit above that, like. So yeah, you go through this part here. There's like the workshop here now as well. There's part of the realm tower. And yeah, so you can obviously tell the difference between this area and the area in 2018. As you can see, there is the world serpent, and as you can see, this part was like all islands. I think you come in a fight like an ancient, if I remember correctly. So you climb up here, and then it's like, oh yeah, you gotta climb up. So at this point here, there's another chest, another pot, and all that. So I swear I came in the fight an ancient like yesterday. You will clearly watch in the gameplay. So you found immediately up at the top, and you get a pretty good view. And you can also see the zip wire and a burning fascia for the Norn's chest. And then there's the way to the Norns that's been blocked off. So anything now, we've got this Svartalheim tower to investigate, the dragon and the raider camp. So we're gonna go to this Svartalheim tower / dragon, and that's here. I think in 2018, in 2018 opened up. I'm pretty sure it doesn't this time. I don't even think you can get up there. I think you can get up there. I'm not too sure. So anyway, if you come through here, if you come here with Freya, you get dialogue. There is a treasure map treasure underneath the dragon, just like in 2018. It's interesting that there is 2 treasures in the same place, like 3 years apart. I just missed it. So all we got left is the last raider camp, and that's the end of the video. I think this video's been interesting, and it's interesting to compare places in between. So anyway, the raider camp is just up here. It's part of a side quest, and then you practically where you enter from Kratos' house pretty much. So that's been it. There's no enemies in this raider camp. So if you didn't, I didn't expect everyone to watch the end of all of this video. Sorry I was so quiet in the 2018 part. There's not quite a lot to say since I was rowing a boat. But if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't enjoy, dislike and comment. And thanks very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a very good day, and goodbye.